hybrid warfare. Because I don't think this was an act of desperation. It was a part of a grand strategy. It's a part of an overall plan to send home that message to the Kashmiris. In this case, the Kashmiris were getting closer to India. You found that thousands of Kashmiris were coming at all the recruiting rallies of the Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry, CRPF and the police. You found that in the Super 40, you found so many students who had appeared and been coached by the army who had made it to the IITG, and I'm told now this becomes Super 50 now, very soon. And you found lots and lots of Kashmiri youth who are performing marvelously in Bollywood or in Indian sports activities. No, this is unknowing Pakistan in a very big way. If I was from the ISI and watching on the other side, I would be worried. The integration of the Kashmiri youth, the Kashmiri population and Awam is taking place with India. I must do something to offset that. I must put the scare of the devil into this. This is one of the prime reasons why Umar Fayaz was targeted. This is one of the prime reasons why the 5 policemen and the 2 bank guards in Shupian were targeted. Now you're seeing the grand strategy behind this. This is all an element of hybrid warfare. This is something which has to be recognized. And it has to be ensured that we continue with our activities. In fact, we redouble our activities to ensure that the Kashmiri population, the Awam, the youth, do not get affected psychologically by these kind of threats. They must continue to support and they must continue to participate in the various activities as a part of the Indian nation. Do it there. We are a large nation. We have a reputation in the world to maintain. But yes, when it comes to push comes to shove, India has to do some certain actions by which our adversaries are forced to retract the activities that they are performing against us. And to that extent, I think the best example was what the Prime Minister said on the 15th of August. In his 94-minute speech, he made a reference to Balochistan only for 2 minutes. And you saw that in that 2 minutes, what the helka it created. To use a Hindi word, what the helka it created. Now that is psychological warfare. I was very glad to see the manner in which the Prime Minister did not choose to speak for 15 minutes on it. He chose to speak for 2 minutes. It was a subtle reference and good enough to send a message. It created a desperation in Pakistan. The actual thing of what's happened to Kulbhushan Yadav is actually can be traced back to the statement in a way, because it is an act of desperation on the part of Pakistan that India was getting its act together. India was getting a sense of commitment. The Indian leadership was at last looking at proactivity, and this is what was scaring their leadership. So I think a lot can be done in Balochistan, and I'm sure a lot is being planned. We've got a proactive Prime Minister. I'm sure a lot of things are being planned by him and his staff. We've got a very good intelligence agencies who are capable of doing it, and I don't think this is a subject which needs to be discussed openly anyway. To fight hybrid, both with the combination of violence or counter violence as I call it, and soft power at the same time. Soft power in this case essentially meaning a reach out to the population, sensitizing the population and keeping the population with you. Covert operations is a part of hard power. It's a part of transnational activity. It's not something which is openly spoken about. How much capability a nation has got in terms of covert activities is always kept under wraps, is always a very covert, it's a very, very secretive kind of activity which need not be discussed openly. But I think our people as a nation, Indians as a nation, need to know that do we have the capability to protect ourselves by going forward proactively and using hard power, not necessarily conventional war, but using other means of hard power. I think if the government is demonstrating it today, it's a good thing. But it takes time to develop this kind of a capability. It's not as if you can develop it overnight. It's not as if the Prime Minister desires it from the ramparts of the Red Fort and it is delivered the next day. It's not possible. It takes a little time. It needs a tremendous amount of training. It needs a tremendous amount of networks and lots of conduits for flow of finances and things like that. I think slowly this is developing. I only hope that we can retract the situation as far as India-Pakistan relations are concerned, so that we don't have to go the whole way to actually bring this kind of a capability to the fore, and hopefully we will not have to take this battle into Pakistan's backyard and into Pakistan's own grounds. Because if we ultimately are serious about it, I can assure you that the Indian brain can be very, very wily. It can be as notorious as any other brain in the world. And I think sometimes it is important to send home that message to your adversaries that do not consider us to be a benign power which only believes in the use of soft power. The messaging must be very clear. This is a part of hybrid warfare, where the messaging content has to be clear to tell your adversary it's up to this point that we can take it. This is the threshold. Beyond this, we will respond, and we will respond very strongly.